Welcome to the AED podcast series. I am Satya Gopalakrishnan, Associate Professor in the Department of Agricultural, Environmental, and Development Economics. And I'm here today with my colleague, Professor Youngyang Cai, Associate Professor in Environmental and Computational Economics in our department. Dr. Cai's work focuses on large-scale dynamic models of the integrated climate economy with specific attention to fundamental uncertainties in the climate trajectory and economic productivity at a global scale. So what we are interested in is this idea of, how do we pay for carbon emissions, and how do we think about the impact that economic activity has on in the environment. And so if you can speak to the idea of the social cost of carbon and how we might be able to measure this concept, that's a great place to start.
Okay, so first, there are many reasons that mitigation is very challenging. Climate change is a global scale problem. So carbon emissions from any place will increase the carbon concentration in the atmosphere, then increases the global temperature. So this requires globally cooperative actions. Future damages from carbon emissions can be very different across countries. For example, a higher temperature may be beneficial to Russia and Canada, as their land previously was covered by ice. Now it becomes more and more suitable for economic activities. In contrast, Africa countries and India, they may have a much larger damage from global warming. Their temperature has already been high for living there, but now even if just a small change, 1 degree Celsius increase of temperature may lead to a significant damage. So, for example, water may become more scarce there, and more land may be transformed into desert. Different damage levels across these countries make it very hard to cooperate across these countries globally. Some countries, they are poor, and so they cannot afford this extra cost of mitigation. And also people may think that climate change problem can be solved easily and less costly in future. Private investment, they may not be able to get any profits if there is no support from government or public funds. Future temperature damages, they are very hard to predict. They are so uncertain, and so that's why it's very hard to reach a consensus on how much we should mitigate. We have a concept called social cost of carbon, you just mentioned. So that measures the present value of future damages from the one extra carbon emissions today. Present value basically just like, so you have some discount, future damages, you need to discount it back with some interest rate, something like that. This measure tells us with this social cost of carbon, then how we should choose our optimal mitigation policy.
If I got this right, you said that the social cost of carbon is the expected damages over the long run from an additional ton of carbon emitted today. So the takeaway is that we think about mitigation as an investment rather than a remediation or a recovery. So it's not fix the problem, it is actually to invest in reducing future damages for increasing overall well-being in the future.
Yes.
Is that right?